Welcome to chapter 13 of the Rebirthing series, the lecture portion of Unloading Your Pain and Fear 2. And again, I strongly encourage and ask for your own good and the good of our planet. If you're only listening to the audio, sign up, register for Rebirthing the Kriyas. Unload this pain and garbage once for all. Okay. Unloading your pain and fear 2. Unloading the past of harsh memories. That's rebirthing. Today, we'll go through the layers of the mind to get rid of the pain. What I'm trying to explain to you is this. Do you know how your mind is? Anybody? You must be aware. Somewhere you might have read some book or something. No? What do you mean by mind? How did this word come through? Your mind has 3 portions. Your brain has an Eastern hemisphere and a Western hemisphere. Every female, and I mean every female, has an active right hemisphere and an active left hemisphere. Every male has no right hemisphere. Men go through the acid bath, which turns one part of the organ into a clitoris and the other part into the penis, period. And that's God's justice, giving you that little extra meat in the penis, takes away your activity of the right brain. The male right brain becomes supplementary to the left brain. It never initiates. Just remember that. Because of this, a man has to compete to become sharp. Woman knows how to be sharp. She only becomes dull because she's indecisive, not because she doesn't know anything. If a woman comes to me saying, I am in pain, I am suffering, I think she's playing dumb. She is an idiot because she's trying to get sympathy. There is absolutely no woman born on this planet who can be dumb. There is no such thing, no matter how insane she might be. God gave her 16 times more sensitivity and intelligence because God prepared her to be a mother. She has to protect her future child. Therefore, all the equipment was provided. There was no injustice. Women only suffer because they are indecisive. They wax and they wane. Now comes the mind. Your mind has 9 layers, and each layer has 3 parts of the mind: positive, negative, neutral. Negative comes first, positive comes next, neutral comes over it. There are 2 parts of the mind, and then the crown over that. It's called a flower bud. The mind's situation is that there is one part of the mind and a second part of the mind and a central part of the mind. Your brain works, but your mind is a constituent of a lot of things in you. So the mind has 3 parts. Each part has 9 layers. It's like an onion. You peel one layer, the outer layer will come. You peel another layer, and the other layers will come. The mind must be trained. The mind has a natural survival tendency. For example, when God made man, man said, I'm being separated from you. Oh, God, that's not fair. And God said, what is the problem? Suppose I don't like where you're sending me. Come back. The mind was given the only thing man has that is faster than time and not measurable by space. I'm going to repeat that. The mind is the only thing man has that is faster than time and not measurable by space. It's the fastest tool of infinity. It has 81 total layers. You have 3 minds. Each mind has 9 layers. Each of those 9 layers has 9 layers. It is much more, my God. But anyway, why bother when you don't care? You don't want to know. You're Americans, and that's enough. Star and Spangle and the whole thing. You salute, you put your hand here, and God bless you. Man has never tried to be real. There is a saying, if you do not conquer your mind, you have lost your trip on Earth. And that is a known fact. It's the only party from the Japji that describes the yoga practice. I'll read both the Sanskrit to the best of my ability and the translation. Munda Sentaka Sarama Patajole Dayan Ki Karai Vibhut. Kinta kala karari ka aji jugat dana da partita. I panthi sagal jamanti manjital jagjita. Adesa tisa ades ad anil anad anahata juga juga akyovaza. Make your contentment your earrings, humility your begging bowl, and meditation the ashes you put on your body. The thought of death, aspiration of the bride to be, faith in the Lord your walking stick. Come as a traveler, all our fellow students. Conquer your mind and conquer the world. Salutation, my humble salutation to you, the primal one, the pure light, without beginning, without end. Throughout time, you remain the same. Guru Nanak said to the yogis, you are doing all these rituals and you think you're in control of it, but that's not true. If you have not conquered the mind, you have not conquered the world. And if you have not conquered the world, then what are you talking about? Munda Santoka refers to a particular practice in which they cut the sun lobe or the earlobe. Yogis tear apart the sun lobe. That's why you put earrings in your ears. It's not a fashion. It is to become impotent. Did you know that? Do you know why we make a hole in the ear? This is a sun lobe. It's an old system, an enforced system. To pierce a woman's ears so she cannot think right was to make a woman a slave. Iron was penetrated through the ear. Iron, not the earrings and diamonds that you have. That was later on. You know, when a king wanted to be a slave, so he put a diamond in it. Basically, they used an iron rod to pierce the ear, and then yogis would put in this munda santoka, those big wooden things. The idea was to make the lobes hang, to tear them apart, so you could practice being impotent. I do not call it celibacy. I call it impotency. Celibacy? There is no such thing. We never believe it. What is the use of being celibate and having wet dreams? Big deal. That's not reality. Reality is whether you are in control or not in control. Life has no two meanings to it. So they put them here and on the other meridian points too. And sometimes they put 6, 7, 8. To me, they look ugly, but to them, that's the only way they've learned to control themselves. It's acupuncture. These days, the Japanese have a little needle and they put it and then put plastic over it so it continues working. Munda Santoka. Guru Nanak asks why you think patients will come to you. Because when you understand the psychosomatics of sex, no, it's my point of view, and I quote no scripture, I take no responsibility, I'm hurting no religion when I say this, but what I'm telling you is true. The truth is, the life in you is based on the sixth sense, the creative sense, which is sex. There is nothing in the world, there is nothing in sex, there is nothing without sex. The creative sense makes you move. Now, if the creative sense doesn't become creative and effective, it becomes sexual, which is also creative. Without sex, you can't create babies, except for the saying that Jesus was born of an immaculate conception. But beyond that, you have to sexually create children. Physical creativity is sexual. Mental creativity is art. And spiritual creativity is ecstasy. These are the three creativities. The positive mind will create art. The neutral mind will create intuitive infinity. You will know what even a telescope can't tell you. You can see it without knowing anything. So Munda Santoka, the first thing in life is patience. And where is your patience tested? Your patience is tested when you hear something. Whenever you hear something, if you can control yourself and you can have patience, you will win. Therefore, those who can listen patiently can always be successful. Munda Santoka Saram Pat Joli. Your karam, you cover, should be saram and pat, grace and nobility. Suram Pat, grace. Suram, Suram, Surim. These are the words in scripture that mean grace, the one who gives the grace, and the one who lives in it. Suram Pat, Pat means nobility. You should have Suram Pat Joli. You have to ask not for things in the world. Instead, you have to give to yourself two things. One is grace, the other is nobility. Munda Santoka Saram Pat Joli Dhyana Ki Karahi Bibot. We put on our body the ashes. The yogis do that to curb the sensuality, the sixth sense. This is to help their mind. We should be intuitive through our meditation, our radiant body, not by putting ashes on our body. Guru Nanak advises them, Munda Santoka Saram Pat Joli Dhyana Ki Karahi Bibhuti. Kinta Kala Ku Ari Kai Ia Jagat Dana Da Partita. You will see some Hare Krishna people with the dandi. They call it dandi. Swamis carrying the stick, the flag of nobility. Kinta Kal Kuari Kia. This body shall be eaten by death, but the soul is always virgin. Kuari Kaiya Jugat Danda Partita. This law of stick, spare the rod, spoil the child, that works. That's why the nature takes care of things. If things are not admitted by natural law, then things are administered by what is called the rash law. If you don't move, there comes a stick on your butts and you move. So the environmental pressure is always on us. Jugata Danda Partita, the law of the stick. Finally, if you do not have the intelligence, you will be hurt. Between your hurt and your intelligence, there is a relationship. But between consciousness, there is no relationship. Please mind that. If you are conscious, you are in control. But when you use only your intelligence, you will be hurt. Kinta, Kal, Ku, Ari, Kai, Ia, Jugata, Danda, Partita, I, Pantis, Sagal, Jamanti, Man, Jatye, Jagjit. I, Panti, I am, I am, I am. It's a rule of God that has come from time infinite to infinite. But when one controls and conquers the mind, he controls the entire three worlds. World of past, world of present, world of tomorrow. Eres, Tisai, Eres, Ada, Anila, Anara, Anahat, Juga Juga, Akyo Vaise. God has all shapes and colors through all time and space. God is infinite by his own infinity, and beyond infinity, still God is. That's all it means. Ades means I salute, I salute, I salute. Japji is the most sacred description of godliness. Explained as in few words as necessary. Sometimes it will need a longer explanation, but in that line, you will hear this line. Mana Jati Jaga Jagjit. If you conquer your own mind, you conquer the world, the whole world around you. Let me tell you some facts. You have 7 chakras. They call it Granthi. Granthi means a nerve plexus, a place where the nerves combine actively, where messages come. From there, the nerves talk to the muscles. That's called Granthi. Like Granthi or fire, the lotus or Granthi of fire is the heart. The power to speak, the power of the word is in your throat. How do you speak? Will you please do this? What is he talking about? What? Who the hell is this? Your question and react. You question and react from your subconscious. The power and projection of the word. That's how Granthi works. Whether consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously will decide your luck. There is no such thing as luck. It doesn't exist. Whenever the combination and permutation between your 7 chakras and your 5 tattvas are in harmony, your aura will be bright. You have an electromagnetic field, and everything has an electromagnetic field. This dead rod has a 1.5 foot aura. Birds and fish have a 3.5 foot aura, but the mammals have a bigger aura. There are the mammals in the sea and the mammals on earth, and you are one of those mammals. Because you have the capacity of intuition, you have a 9-foot aura on each side, up and down. You're 9 feet deep. From that foot of yours, including your heel, your aura in the ground is measured by the heel strength, not from the toe. If your aura down into earth is shallow, you are poor and you cannot become rich. I could give you the Federal Reserve Bank and money shall not be with you. Money is only measured by the depth of your auric root into the earth. Your aura toward the east side will give you the knowledge to grab opportunity. Your aura to the west gives you the strength to produce the impossible. Your aura above will give you height. Together, to gather means to collect. So it's together that is most important in life. Our entire activity is based on getting things together, organizing, arranging, doing all those kinds of things. We are always working for security. Agi apni mot se koi bashar nahi, samana sobarasa ka pal ki kabar nahi. It's a traditional Punjab saying that means no individual is aware of his death. People can make arrangements for 100 years and the next moment they can be dead. So basically, we do not work here because we have to work. We work because we love God, but we do not trust God. Those who trust God will never work. The fact of life that when you trust God, then Mother Nature works for you. The whole universe works for you. When you love God, then you should work hard through your sweat. Mother Nature will never work for you. That's where you decide who is rich and who is poor. Tehela Manel Ta Ko Mali Ja Koa Sant Kirpala. Guru Ajan Siri Guru Granth Sahib. Services and palaces shall be granted to those on whom a saint is happy. That's one line that can never be untrue. Saint or sadhu means one who has completed his sadhana. What is a sadhana? After all, sadhana has to have some reason. There are 3 lines: sadhana, aradhana, prabhupata. Those who do sadhana, those who do as they have been told to do, those who become the master of God. You are controlling the mind and you control God. When you read all the scriptures from all the religions to day 1 to today, there are only 3 words you will come to conclude, only one thing: sadhana, aradhana, and prabhupati. Let me put it to you in a practical way. A gun has grooves with hit right. Grooves will hit right, others won't. That's why they make the grooves in a gun's barrel. Grooves are for hitting the bullseye. So in your mind, you have to keep the grooves. But how do you keep the grooves? We put the grooves in our own mind by a particular sadhana. Sadhana is the most selfish act. Why early in the morning? The answer is very simple. Why at the ambrosial hours? Because that's when the sun hits the earth at 60 degrees. Why do you go berserk in the evening? Because that's when the sun hits you at 60 degrees. It's 60 to 60. No big deal. You can read the sun. At 3:30 a.m., it's not at your longitude or latitude. There is no sun. But the angle is correct. You must understand that the things that have become rituals were once realities. They are still realities, but we have never read, never understood, and never explained them. We think a bunch of stupid people get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, take a cold shower, sit down and say one word: Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. We think, well, they are crazy. No, they are not. You are crazy if you're not doing it. You do not get up consciously. And if you do not get up consciously, you will not spend your day consciously. You will not work out consciously. And that day is your bad day. It's not what was read in the stars for you. Some people tell me they love me. I agree, a lot of you love me, but sometimes I wonder, do you love yourself? Do you truly love yourself? Some people have done more for me than I have ever words to thank them for, but have they done enough for themselves? Now I am who I am. I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm supposed to teach your spirit. What shall I do? Put methylated spirits or gasoline there instead of your real spirit in order to make you move? You create two things. Like the earth, you have movement around your own axis and the movement of your orbit. Your orbit is your destiny, which I can help. The axis is your problem. Your ego is your problem. The idea behind teaching rebirthing is a very old idea that is now being cast in the United States and the Western world. The idea is to release the subconscious, the storehouse of misery. The subconscious is not a good thing. It's a good store, but when its disk gets cluttered, it won't let you move in your life. That's the tragedy of it. It numbs people to reality. Some people take up their axial pattern and they are very rude. Some people take up their axial pattern and they are very, very lazy. There is always one faucet in your life that will govern you, and that is called the crown principle. We only want one crown principle. Start working on your mind. Tonight, we are going to work, maybe a little late. How many people have an appointment or dates after 9 p.m.? After that time, some of you get very itchy. Your butts start hurting and you start moving. So I start cutting down the class as much as I can. But my idea is that tonight is a very special night. And today, the day that I'm first recording this and going live on Zoom with this, will be March 7th, the day of the new moon in Virgo in the year 2023. But it doesn't matter because this work was first delivered in 1989. And it is every bit as relevant whenever you are receiving it. And the recordings are still here for you. I want to work with you, and I want you to work with me. Is that agreeable? Ready? Because I don't want to do it if you don't want to do it, and I don't want to go into everybody's subconscious and take that can of worms and loosen it up if you're just going to go walking about your life in it tomorrow, putting your garbage all over the place. That would be terrible. I want you to just open it up, clean it up, patch it up, and send you out. That's the way I want to do it. Is that understood? I have some moral responsibility. I'm not as bad as you think. I have to do certain things, all right? So let's work it out. When you all have dread in you, all you have to do is get out that dread. Remember previous ages when you were a lion, when you were a black panther. That's what we're tapping into today. You are a powerful co-creator. I am inviting you with a open, humble heart to register for rebirthing, to clean yourself, to clear yourself, to free yourself. I, Tammy Lynn Jingro, am Haru Raha, Lord and Queen of the Sun, here to share life, light, liberty, and love for the purpose of the complete emancipation of the human race. And this, doing the work here, is one of the most powerful things you can do to free your soul 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. We can't carry the garbage into the new paradigm. The frequency will not sustain it. If you want to raise your consciousness, if you want to be one of the way showers to step through the age of Aquarius, the new aeon of Horus, you must clean out your garbage. Blessings and love, beautiful beings. Namaste.